on my mind. I could be alone, but you're never far from sight. As far as we go, and through the darkest night, I hope it brings you peace of mind. I know we'll be alright, no matter where you go. Always on my mind. I could be alone, but you're never far from sight. As far as we go.
Some of them try to rhyme, but they can't rhyme like this. Some of them try to rhyme, but they can't rhyme like this. Some of them try to rhyme, but they can't rhyme like this. Some of them try to rhyme, but they can't. What's going on, everybody? How you doing today? So here I am in Southwest Atlanta. I'm in a gated community, just inside a little bit, and I'm doing a video today about Chris Kelly. He's a member of Kris Kross. There's two of them, Chris Kelly, Chris Smith. And they were the two little kids, about 14 years old when they came out, and they wore their clothes backwards, had 3 albums, they had a few hits, and they were pretty great. For pop rap, I'm a sucker for pop music, I'm a sucker for rap music, of course, and put them together, I love it. And I'm a Kris Kross fan, still am. I mean, their first album, Totally Krossed Out, had Jump, I Missed the Bus, Warm It Up. Second album had All Right, which is actually my favorite song of theirs. I love that song. Their third album, Young, Rich, and Dangerous, I think it was called Young, Rich, and Dangerous, didn't do as well. I mean, they were 14. By then, they had matured, and they had taken a few years off, and it came back, and with a kind of a different style. It just didn't do as well, and then they disbanded after that, which is sad, because it wasn't a bad album at all. It was just a different style and different look for them. It's hard for any child musician, child actor, child star to make that transition. It's very, very difficult. I think it's easier for actors to do it. There's plenty of examples. For musicians, there's less. Michael Jackson, I'm sure there's plenty that I'm not going to name. I can't think about them all right now. But it's not that easy when you're a teen sensation to make that, from music, to make that jump into adult stardom as well. But Kris Kross were a huge, huge band in the 90's. They were a huge group, rap group. They were huge, Kris Kross. And they have some great songs. Chris Kelly now, died in 2013. I'm gonna take you up to his house right now, show you where he passed away. It was a cocaine, heroin overdose, sadly. And that's where the 911 call came from, and where he was found dead, unfortunately. But their label, So Deaf, that they were on, had just had a 20th anniversary concert where they performed. So it couldn't have been that too long before he passed away. And if you watch that video, him and his partner, Chris Smith, they came back and they performed and they did a medley of the hits, and he looked great. He looked great, sounded great, both of them did. He especially looked very healthy and had a great look going, and you would have never suspected he was going to pass away shortly thereafter. You never would have suspected he had problems. And it's very, very sad. I mentioned right away about the drug addiction, that he died of drugs, and probably obviously had a drug addiction. I know sometimes I don't even mention how people died, especially when it's a drug addiction, on my channel when I visit graves, where we're going to go visit his grave afterwards. Just because I used to get, when in the comments, if it was somebody, that died of drugs, they'd make a comment, they go, another dead junkie, or who cares, it's their own fault, blah, blah, blah. I disagree completely. So, and if you're suffering from mental health or drug addiction, and if you're not, you know somebody who is. You may not know they are, but they are. Everybody knows somebody. So, death is sad, regardless of how it happens. And this young man's life is important to remember, because he was vibrant, full of life. He was a good musician for all intents and purposes. He was a good man, from what I've read. Grew into a good man and influenced. I listened to their first album so much. I think Totally Krossed Out was one of the second or third CDs I ever owned, because I was still going on cassettes and LPs, and I didn't get a CD player till into the 90s. Yeah. My first CD was Vanilla Ice to the Extreme. That's a true story. That's my first CD I ever had. But yeah, I had totally Krossed Out, and I played the shit out of that thing. I love that album. And the Ball on the second album was great too. So now we're gonna go up. We're gonna drive up. They graciously have allowed me to drive in and look around. And I'm gonna take some pictures and video. And we're gonna then make the drive to the cemetery and pay our respects to Chris Kelly from Kris Kross. Jump, jump. You remember them? Two little kids with a sound with a flow that you never heard. What was the line? Something like that. I used to know it all by heart. Let's go. Take a look right now.
Death of Chris Kelly. He's best known as half of the 90s group Kris Kross. Kelly died after losing consciousness at his Southwest Atlanta home.
The Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office says the 34-year-old was found unresponsive in a Southwest Atlanta home. He was taken to Atlanta Medical Center South, where doctors pronounced him dead.
Fulton County 911, what's the address of the emergency?
Yes. Okay, we have an EMS call for an unresponsive male.
Okay. Are you with him now?
Yes, I'm with him now.
How old is he?
He's 34, ma'am.
Is he awake?
No, he's out of it. I want to call you if he's
Listen
awake.
to me. I need you to listen to me, though, okay? Is he breathing?
It's like he's out of it. It's like he's going.
Right, I understand that part about him being awake, but is he breathing? Is he breathing?
Always on my mind, yeah. I could be alone, but you're never far from sight. As far as we go, and through the darkest night, I hope it brings you peace of mind. I know we'll be alright, no matter where you go. Always on my mind, I could be alone, but you're never far from sight. As far as we go, through the darkest night, I hope it brings you peace of mind. I know we'll be alright.
So here I am at Westview Cemetery. It's about a 50-minute drive from Chris Kelly's house. So you can see behind me there's some impressive monuments, and really impressive. And right here, if you look there, that's a turret, like a castle turret. That's crazy. It's a very huge cemetery. And thanks to Find a Grave, it wasn't too hard to find Chris Kelly. He's right over here, and I could see it from my car. Yeah, so let's take a walk over. So here we are. James Christopher Kelly, live and die for hip hop. August 11th, 1978 to May 1st, 2013. God. 34.
This morning when I woke up, this peace came over me. Because I know Chris is in heaven with our Heavenly Father. I just wanted to say one thing about Chris. You know, we had too many memories, so I'm not gonna try to go through the 30 years that we kicked it. I just wanted to talk about the last time we was on stage. So like right before we go on, right? I'm on the right side, Kris on the left. And it's like seconds before, you know, we're supposed to come on time, right? But Kris runs over to my side. And he say, "Stay focused." So I'm like, "What you doing, man? The curtain's about to come up." But, you know, Kris, he didn't sweat nothing. He wasn't all anxious or nothing. He just slowly walked to his side. And, you know, it's all right. That's the Kris I always knew. So I just want to say I love you, man, and I'm gonna miss you dearly. You know, I could say Kris Kross forever, but I know without Kris, my life, it ain't gonna never be the same. But I just hope our legacy for hip hop is never forgotten. But I'm gonna do my part though, to make sure Kris' memory live on. All right?
That's my visit to Kris Kelly right there. Not too hard to find. 34 years old. Wow. Once again, the bugs are out in Atlanta. 34. 34. If you bumped hip hop in the 90's, you bumped a Kris Kross, whether you want to admit it or not. And they were good. Listen to the albums again, especially the first two. They could rap. They weren't just a novelty act for that. Some people think of them as a one-hit wonder. Like I said, they had some great songs. And when you watch the So Def 20th anniversary performance of theirs, they can rap and they can perform, and they're electrifying on stage. They were great. Sad, and I hope Kris Kelly's resting in peace. And for 90's kids, 90 people who, you know, came of age in the 90's, it's for you. And for Kris Kelly, peace. Peace.